that's facing us. And someone rightly pointed out that even the NSAS, the activities of SARS, is also a form of disaster. And of course, we can mitigate and reduce that also as a nation. Please, the director will prompt us as soon as Nnamdi is on the line. But firstly, let's start. Disasters, whether natural, man-made, or human, remain a major challenge to achieving global sustainability. I want you also to put it in perspective, what sort of natural disasters generally we're prone to as a nation, and put it in scale if you have to do that.
Okay, so as a nation, we face different forms of natural disasters, which is also fueled by human-induced activities. And we talk about, when talking about natural disasters, we cannot talk about them without mentioning droughts, without mentioning oil spill, without mentioning flooding. And we have the ripple effect of climate change, which brings about extreme weather events such as heat waves and sea level rise. And with all disasters. So in talking about flooding, we know that there are lots of activities and lots of natural occurrences that happen with flooding, which is, we know that when we have the melting of the glacier, we have sea level rise. And when we have sea level rise, our own individual activities, which is sand mining and
That Nnamdi is on the line. Good morning, Nnamdi.
Well, good morning, Lisa.
Nnamdi, can you hear us?
When we talk about natural disasters, there's nothing really natural about it. We could have natural hazards, okay? Because people make it look like, okay, well, it's natural disaster. We can't do anything much about it, okay? But these are natural hazards. Whether you're talking about flooding, whether you're talking about cyclones, all these extreme weather events are all natural hazards. What makes them a disaster is that they intersect with vulnerability. So people are exposed, and then because they are vulnerable, they don't have either economically they are vulnerable, the structures are vulnerable, then it leads to very great impact. Okay, so disaster is social as we know it, and that's why we must focus on building on resilience. Okay, so that people don't think, oh well, it's natural, it's an act of God, and we can't do much about it.
Are not being able to do nothing about it. Does that really hold water? Don't you think that as human beings too, we have a part to play?
We have a part to play, and the focus is on building resilience. Okay, so people shouldn't say it's a natural thing, like don't have anything to do about it. We must do something about it, and that's what the framework is about on disaster risk reduction. So good governance is what is important. And what we're advocating for is that government at all levels must begin to mainstream Okay, well, a holistic approach.
Deal with that, or how
Uh, you know, a typical example is what's happening with this flooding event. From 2012, like the national strategy for managing disasters in Nigeria usually focuses more on preparedness for response and then, a bit of recovery, So you see an event happens and, NEMA, the SEMAs, last summer, like in Lagos, like you have it, they provide emergency response, search and rescue operations, and things like that. But we should be talking about a culture of prevention. Okay, we should be focusing more on mitigation. What's happening since 2012?
because
We
hello,
haven't done
we're
much.
talking about NEMA. There has been some other than development of action plans for mitigating. Thank you very much for joining us, Abimbola Abikoye. She's an environmentalist and a community-based researcher, also project coordinator for ICCDI. And also, Nnamdi, thank you very much. Are you still there? Thank you.